While that might be true, it doesn't have to be a huge ordeal. It doesn't have to feel like a huge process. What types of alcohol, or what does your alcohol do to the body when you're trying to lose fat? That's a huge one. Alcohol in the body, and especially the moment it hits the bloodstream, does have pretty harmful effects. And we'll actually dive into what exactly it does the moment you take that first sip. Next up is how to stay on track without feeling restricted. Again, people stop and people fail when they feel overly restricted, causing nutrition prison. I've used that term before. It's a term that actually is pretty effective in terms of, if you feel restricted with anything in life, it doesn't have to be nutrition, it doesn't have to be alcohol, it doesn't have to be your workouts. If you feel restricted with anything, you're going to do everything in your power to stop that restriction. Nobody likes getting handcuffed. No one. Some people do, but not for the most part. Take a look at food. When we eat out, guys, I put a pretty powerful picture here on the screen. When we think of eating out with friends, there's two types of people. All right. You have person A that's on the left and person B on the right. All right. For some reason, when it comes to going out to eat with friends, going out to eat with family, whoever it may be, people usually think one or the other, but it's on these polar opposite sides. Some people immediately resort to the unhealthier foods, so to speak, French fries, burgers, pizza, lasagna. And then on the right side, you have just vegetables, a salad, or honestly, something very unpalatable. Basically, this individual is eating in such an extreme healthy way that it's almost unenjoyable to them. Tammy, would you say that you're on your person A or person B here whenever eating out?
Really eat out.
You don't eat out. If you
No,
did
I
eat out,
don't.
and if you did eat out, what would you say?
Um, Probably. Well, now I would be person B, the one on the right.
Now you would, after learning so much nutrition, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
before you came into the Eden community, Tammy, would have you been person A?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely, right? And you weren't alone. We're talking millions and millions of Americans and people, honestly, all over the world choosing the foods that are naturally more appetizing, more enjoyable, right? The
Right.
interesting thing is we also don't want to be that person B all the time. We want to be able to enjoy ourselves, especially on the fat loss journey, right? So how do we enjoy our life without derailing our progress? You can say yes to fun without saying no to progress. So a lot of people, I've even heard, like, some people even have to stop going out to eat with friends because they're afraid of it jeopardizing their mission. While it can save you money, it's not always necessary to just skip a meal just because, right? Couple ways to work around this. We choose a lean protein and we choose some vegetables and a clean carbohydrate. So what do I call a clean carbohydrate? Instead of choosing fried potatoes, I would say we could choose mash, sweet potato, white rice, wild rice, balsamic rice, right? So we have so many different options to complement the protein with, but you sure as heck don't want to be on either polar side unless you absolutely love just vegetables alone, right? Challenges of social settings on GLP-1 medications, like some, is that it is already hard enough to make great decisions when it comes to food because our brain is so powerful. We crave palatable, we crave the sugars, we crave the carbohydrates, we crave the sweets. It's already difficult to make proper decisions with food. When you accompany alcohol into the equation, it takes the decision making that much harder. So now, in essence, you're almost setting yourself up to fail immediately because it's already hard. Already hard. Social pressure can lead to overeating or drinking more than planned. Social pressure. It takes a single friend, it takes a single family member, and it takes John or Kelsey right to the side of you, right at your shoulder to say, "Hey, have this. Hey, try this." Hey, get a drink with me. Hey, I'm having bourbon on the rocks. You're not going to have any? You don't want a margarita with me? Right? These are things that people do encounter every single week. So again, you could say yes to fun without saying no to progress. The goal of this specific AMA is to teach you how to balance social events without stalling your fat loss journey. We're going to provide simple strategies for drinking alcohol responsibly. That's a pretty big one. And we're going to show you how to navigate the restaurant menus on GLP-1. So let's dive right into alcohol. What alcohol does to your body while losing fat? It slows down fat loss. That's not a shocker. Alcohol is metabolized before fats and carbs, delaying fat burning. Right? Alcohol is metabolized before fat and carbs, delaying fat burning. That means when you are consuming food and you're consuming alcohol, what do you think your body's going to try to work on first? The alcohol. The alcohol converts into ethanol the moment it touches the bloodstream, becoming a complete toxin. I call it a poison to the body. And because the human body has no regulation with ethanol, as a result, it starts trying to get rid and it starts trying to filter the ethanol in the system before your carbs and fats, which means if you just had a whole meal, you can bet that that meal is going to be delayed in being broken down. It's going to be delayed in being metabolized and being properly, I guess you could call it nutritious for the body. Some drinks are high in sugar and calories, adding up fast. So, Tammy, I believe you said you don't drink much anymore?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Not at all. When did you
Nope.
stop?
I stopped about maybe 3 months ago.
And what made you stop?
I'm just being healthier. I'm trying to have a cleaner lifestyle.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Alcohol is it's almost like our culture, right? It's something people have been doing their whole life. Um, into their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you name it. So for you to have stopped completely is not easy to do.
No, it's not.
It's not easy to do. I'm very shocked that you were able to hold off this long, and honestly, it's incredibly healthy for you. So it's even though you stop, I mean, it's really good to understand what it does. Maybe it might persuade you not to drink it in the meantime. But
Mm-hmm.
if you ever do come across, let's say it's a family member, let's say someone's getting married in your family, special occasions, and you do decide to have one, you could actually understand it a little bit better. Right?
All right.
The alcohol actually lowers inhibitions and hunger control, so it can increase cravings for high fat and high carb foods. So Tammy, let's say you have a friend or family member that drinks. That person is more likely to want to eat higher fatty and higher carbohydrate foods. So similar to when somebody smokes and they have the quote unquote munchies, there's something very similar with alcohol, right? We will naturally have the tendencies to want to eat these types of foods. So it makes over more likely eat with appetite suppression. So that simply means if you are on a GLP-1 medication like semaglutide, and the semaglutide is suppressing your appetite, alcohol can negate the effects of semaglutide, making it almost inefficient in the system. Now, I'm not saying you having a GLP-1 medication with a single drink completely offsets the effects of GLP-1s. That is not what I'm saying. Before somebody says, that's wrong. But what I am saying is it can negate some effects of it. Okay. Impacts recovery, muscle retention. It reduces muscle protein synthesis. Muscle protein synthesis, all that means is the moment you consume protein into your system, it gets broken down into amino acids. And when that protein gets broken down into these amino acids, muscle protein synthesis is your body's ability to join these proteins to create lean, not lean tissue, but any tissue, right? your body's ability to create this tissue is slowed, it's inhibited. So it slows down muscle recovery when you do consume the alcohol. And of course, it dehydrates the body, impacting workout performance. So the list just goes on and on and on. Inhibits your body's ability to burn fat. It's empty calories. It makes it harder to build muscle. I mean, guys, we can keep going. And then they'll say, oh, just have a cup of or a glass of red wine per day. Again, as a nutritionist, I myself, I'm very, very against alcohol. I'm very, very against alcohol. There are still some studies online, very, very minute studies. I would question to where these studies were even funded by that single glass of red wine having a little bit of benefits. But over the years, me studying and learning so much about ethanol and whether it's tequila, vodka, bourbon, whiskeys, beer, wine, you name it, the negative effects on the human body are so devastating that I personally have made a rule for myself. And I would hope many of the viewers that are watching this can adopt this rule or at least something like it. All right. My rule specifically for alcohol is unless it's a wedding, unless I'm traveling on a vacation, unless it's a close person's birthday party, or unless it is an extreme special occasion, I will not drink alcohol. And as a result, I personally lost body fat. I'm getting stronger than I ever have been in my life. My skin is clearing up. My energy production is through the roof. I'm sleeping better at night, and I'm sharper than I ever have been in my life as a result of not being a social drinker. Now, if your goal is to lose body fat and you are on a GLP-1 medication and you still truly believe that it's okay to drink a few times a week thinking it's going to be okay for you, it's not. It's not. Now, if you do enjoy alcohol and you want to drink it maybe 1 to 2 times a week and you're not binge drinking and you're not overdoing it, fine. But within moderation. My only issue with alcohol is one glass is never one glass. One glass leads to 2, and we all know 2 leads to 3, and so on and so forth. All right. Your body burns alcohol first. Fat loss is put on hold, literally. Your body burns alcohol first, the fat loss is put on hold. Can we argue that statement? Can we argue it by saying, but if you're in a calorie deficit, fat loss should occur no matter what, correct? Yes, in essence, right? Yes, in essence. That's where it can get a little conflicting. As long as you're in a calorie deficit, one would say even if you are drinking alcohol, you can still have a healthy fat loss journey. On the books, maybe. Is it the healthiest option? Probably not. And before we talk about how to stay on track and eating out properly at restaurants, 1 shot of alcohol, guys, 1.5 fluid ounces, is about 100 calories no matter what spirit you decide to drink. And for those people that are like, oh, Coach Joe, tequila, I heard, is healthier than bourbons and vodkas. Like, guys, yes, tequila is fermented from the sugar of the agave plant, but again, it still converts into ethanol. The potato starch from Ciroc, the grape fermentation of grapes from wine, these all get processed as ethanol in the system. And again, the moment it hits the bloodstream, you're looking at a toxin. So again, I don't care what your choice of alcohol is. I'm really not a huge fan of people saying, oh, but tequila is healthier. Guys, it is such a minute difference in terms of healthy and not. It's more on the spectrum of how devastating is it for your system, right? So how do we stay on track without feeling restricted when it comes to dining out? Before going out, you want to eat a high protein meal beforehand to avoid over snacking. And you want to hydrate well. Alcohol depletes electrolytes. That means these are 2 key hacks. If you'd like to screenshot this, if you'd like to take a picture of this, or if you would simply like to write this down. Eat a high protein meal before you go out to eat. Literally, you don't have to do it a minute before you leave the door. But if you had a high protein meal an hour to 2 hours before you left, could you imagine your decision making when you're actually at the restaurant? You're not going to go for multiple appetizers. You're not going to go for a huge meal. You might only be in the mood for a soup and a small chicken salad, right? Or a small salmon and rice bowl, so on and so forth. There's plenty of times where I personally have showed up to a restaurant with some friends and I was that guy that got a soup. I just got a soup because I knew I needed to be in a deficit. I knew I kind of already ate a decent amount in the day. And I knew if I had a big plate, I mean, guys, when you go to a restaurant, these aren't your normal plates. These aren't plates that you cook at home. These are 1,000-calorie plus plates with ease. With ease, right? Eat a high protein meal beforehand. And then the other part, if you do know you're drinking, and my speech about only drinking on special occasions didn't really impact you quite yet, let's at least be a little strategic with that. Let's hydrate. Let's drink water prior. And here's another trick. Let's have some proteins and carbohydrates prior to the first sip of alcohol. Prior to the first sip, not after. The body does something a little interesting when it's being metabolized after food has touched the stomach. All right. With that said, the only issue is it might take you a little bit more to feel the tipsiness or the drunk effect. But so many times, the moment someone sits down at a restaurant, their alcohol, their drink is literally the first thing they go for. Choosing alcohol wisely. Stick to low-calorie drinks, dry wines, spirits, zero-calorie mixers, light beer. What are those seltzers in the can? And I forgot the name. I haven't drank in so long. Jesus. Not the high noons. White Claws. White Claws are a lot less of a calories than if you were to mix, Crown and Coke, for example, which is almost like a dessert at that point when you're having 30 grams of sugar in a single glass. So the issue becomes when you start going towards those mixed drinks is that you don't just go from 100 calories for the shot of alcohol. You start introducing juices and a lot of these bases that are easily an additional 200 calories. So now all of a sudden, you're looking at a 300 to 500 calorie drink, not including the meal. And the reason why I'm so passionate about teaching this subject specifically is because this is so many people's downfalls in their weight loss journey. This right here is the going out with the big dinner and accompanying that big, very calorically dense meal with alcohol. So it's like knocking out two birds with one stone in the opposite direction, not in a good way, right? I hear too many people over the years say, Coach, I've done such a good job on my weight loss journey and my macros and my calories. From Monday to Friday, I've been killing it. But then I tend to go out on the weekends. I'm not doing too bad, but for some reason, my scale hasn't moved. Guys, if I hear someone saying their scale hasn't moved and it's been over a month and they're saying they're killing it and doing really well during the week, that's a telltale sign that the weekends are forcing them out of the calorie deficit. If you only knew that one day of overfeeding is enough to offset the entire week, you would start thinking a little bit differently about nutrition. Some professionals, some coaches would recommend not to tell their clients and say, just because you screwed up one day, you should probably get back on track. They don't usually like telling people that one day is enough to mess up their entire week. I like being realistic, right? You do what you want with the information, but very realistically, if you do overfeed and one day you decided to eat 4 to 5,000 calories, and you were supposed to be in a small 3 to 500 calorie deficit every day, you've just offsetted your entire week plus some. Where's the fun and no results, right? Where's the fun in that? Navigating restaurants and social pressure. Look at the menu beforehand to make a mindful choice. There's plenty of times where I was on my way to a restaurant or even before, and I just literally took a screenshot of the menu. I knew what I was going to get before I even sat down. Some people would call me crazy. Some people might call it a little extreme, but we know, and I want you to say it in your head out, say it out loud if you need to. Say planning ahead. We know planning ahead is one of the most essential habits and components of properly succeeding on your fat loss journey. And planning ahead isn't writing everything down on a pencil and paper every action you make. Planning ahead could simply be, hey, I think I'm gonna choose this option before I get there. This way I don't cave into the pressure of my friends that all got burgers and french fries. Like a lot of them. Protein plus fiber equals the best plate balance. So when in doubt, if you're ever like, coach, what should I be eating if I decide to go out to eat and I'm on a GLP-1 medication? I want you to remember the two words, protein and fiber. I didn't say just protein. I didn't say just fiber. I said protein plus fiber equals the best plate balance. So what is fiber? Where could we get fiber? Amy, would you know?
I think it's in beans.
Damn, absolutely. Beans actually have some of the highest fiber. So that's good. Avocados, beans, fruits, vegetables, popcorn, fruits, vegetables, beans, avocados, chia seeds, flax seeds, seeds. So if you had a steak and beans, would that be okay?
Yeah.
What about if you had sea bass and fruit? Would that be okay?
Yes.
What if you did pork tenderloin and an avocado? Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, you're too good at this. Way too good at this. You're going to be teaching the next AMA. If drinking, limit to 1 to 2 drinks and please sip slowly. I would say limit it to 0, but obviously we need to have some form of fun in our life. So just try to limit it. Don't be that, oh, I'm gonna drink 10 shots of alcohol every single weekend person and expect to have a simple weight loss journey, right? Socializing is about connection, not just food and drinks. Again, just because you're going out, it's not revolved around the alcohol and the great dinners that you're going to be having. Socializing is that in itself. Socializing, communicating, talking, laughter, having fun. You can have fun without jeopardizing your health, without jeopardizing your fitness goals. Because just imagine how you're going to feel after you realize you didn't lose any weight, after you've just had a meal, you were feeling down on yourself. Where's the fun in going home and saying, gosh, I overdid it? Right? Small Q&A. So, as a summary, just to quickly recap everything we just discussed, alcohol does slow fat loss. It increases cravings. And not only just increase cravings, it affects your decision-making process naturally. Even if you're strong-willed, and it affects muscle retention as if, if you aren't currently resistance training, which I believe a lot of people that are watching this right now aren't doing some form of weightlifting, you are at higher risk of muscle loss on the GLP-1 medication. And alcohol just simply doesn't support that, right? Planning ahead helps you enjoy social events while staying on track. Planning ahead, say it out loud, planning ahead. And then we have smart choices at restaurants and bars, make it easier to stay in control. So you can still have fun. You could still enjoy yourself. Insist on you enjoying yourself through this journey. However, all you need to do is be a little strategic and it can go a long way. So, Tammy, let me ask you two questions. How do you balance social events with staying on track?
I don't really have a lot of social events.
Okay.
I'm a homebody.
You are. Do you have
Yeah.
any friends that go out a lot?
No, not really.
Okay, you're one of the few. You're lucky. You're
Yep.
lucky that you're not falling into the social pressure. But based on this lesson, if you had to guess, what is one key takeaway from this lesson that you think would benefit somebody that tends to go out a lot?
To not drink so much. To like only have a few and sip on it.
Wow, literally, don't drink so much, man. It's
Yeah.
not, and let's not even talk about health for a second. Let's talk about financially. $10 to $20 a drink, multiple drinks a week, guys. That equals thousands and thousands of dollars over the years. You know what that few $1,000s can get you?
Heck
A
yeah.
beautiful a beautiful vacation, a brand new TV, and a new video game set. Right? All of it. Tammy, new VR headset.
Yep, exactly.
Man, people are spending a lot of money. So, guys, if you're watching this video right now, I'm hoping you don't have to do everything I just said. You'd be in really good shape if you did, but at least take away one to two of these key principles. All right. So, Tammy, let me ask you this: how disciplined are you with your diet right now? Do you still cave into some enjoyable foods now and then?
Yeah, I do. I made meatloaf today
You made
and
meatloaf
mashed
today?
potatoes. Yeah, and mashed potatoes.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you had a good amount of meat?
Yeah, I had a good portion size.
Did it fill you up?
Yes, it did. It made me stuffed.
It made you stuffed. Okay, good. And how much mashed potatoes would you say you had?
Um, Not that much. I only had maybe about 4 spoonfuls.
Okay, that's not bad. I
No,
would say
I took more meat and less of that.
wow.
Yeah, and I ate some corn too.
Okay, there we go. Which has some fiber in it and
Yup.
some good nutrients. Okay. So you just opted in for a little bit more protein and fiber than you did carbohydrates, right?
Yup.
Man, Tammy. Timmy, what are we weighing in at nowadays?
I'm still at 244.
You say still as if you've been there for 2 months.
No. Only a few days.
Only a few days, right? Man, the tone of your voice, it sounded almost disappointing. Oh my goodness. So 244?
Yep, 244.
You know, it's just a matter of time before we hit the 200 pounds.
I know, right? I'm so excited for that.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna be a complete different human being. You're gonna feel
Yeah.
a human and you're gonna look like a different human. People won't even recognize you.
I know, right? And I get to buy all new clothes when I lose all this weight.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm
Awesome.
excited about that.
Heck yeah. Well, we're gonna be here through that entire process with you. All right.
Exactly.
We're gonna be here, and I cannot wait till we hit that 200-pound mark. Shit, I can't
Yeah,
wait.
it's gonna be the best day.
Even five-pound increments is huge, huge,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think 200 pounds is a good, slightly longer term goal, but it's very important to set realistic small goals for us, right?
Right.
So your next goal is to break under 240 pounds. When was the last time you were under that?
Oh God, it's been probably like 11, 12 years.
Oh my gosh. Tammy, you are
Yeah.
so close to being the lightest you've been in over 10 years.
Yep.
Do you know how huge that is?
Yeah, that's a big goal.
People fight their entire life to achieve something that big.
Yeah, I know they do.
And you're doing it like clockwork.
Yep. It was a matter of changing my diet around, you know?
Absolutely. And not just your diet, your intelligence, your knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
your
Yeah,
skill
because it's
set,
not even a diet no more. It's just like it's normal now.
your lifestyle. Yep, this is part of who you are now.
Yep.
You're becoming a better version of yourself. For the people in this community watching this video right now, we have firsthand Tammy losing a drastic amount of weight in a healthy fashion, in a sustainable approach to where the weight that she's losing is not just weight she's losing temporarily. These are pounds that will stay off forever. How do I know this? I know this based on her actions. I know this based on her communication. And I know this based on her attentiveness to listen. Right. So if you want to be like Tammy and you want to lose a lot of weight and feel absolutely awesome while doing it, then the Eden live AMA calls are an absolute must. We are hosting it every week. And our next call is going to be on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Awesome, Tammy. Do you have any other questions?
Nope.
Beautiful. It's always a pleasure having you. And I will
Thank
see you.
you.
Okay? Awesome. All right, guys. Take care. See you on Monday.
Okay, see you Monday.
Thank you all for joining our YouTube. I know our Facebook was had a little bit of a challenge there, but we're gonna get that worked out for our next one. But again, our next live stream for our AMA with Joe is going to be on Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do join in, and we'll make sure everything's going to be operating tip top perfectly for you. Thank you so much for joining us.